There are two sides to every garment. One holds all the sequins and the glitter for the world to see. The other has the messy threadwork. This side is hidden. The clothes from Zara, like all clothes, also have these two sides. And the brand too. The world is celebrating Zara's philanthropy today. But its story does not end there. On Gravitas tonight, we bring you the other side, the seamy side of Zara's philanthropy.
This spring-summer belongs to Zara. The brand is being hailed for its response to the pandemic. In March, Zara temporarily closed around 4,000 of its stores across the world. Its factories in Spain switched to producing medical supplies. Masks, personal protective equipment, and washable hospital gowns. Zara flew in 3 million PPEs and close to 1,500 ventilators for Spain. Its Spanish employees were assured full salaries. Spain was happy and the world was celebrating Zara. This is the man behind the brilliant PR campaign. 84-year-old Amancio Ortega, the owner of Zara's parent company, Inditex, the world's 6th richest man and a citizen of Spain. It is in his home country that Zara's philanthropy begins and ends. Zara has stores across the world, but Inditex has just 13 factories at home in Spain. Wonder where Zara's other factories are? Turn the globe. Myanmar, Bangladesh, Turkey. It's in these countries that Zara gets most of its garments made. Why? Because cheap labor. But Zara has mistaken cheap labor for exploitation. While the brand was donating medical supplies in Spain, its workers in Myanmar were not even given masks. When they asked for it, they were fired. At least 500 workers in Zara's main mode factory were laid off in the middle of the pandemic. Zara's workers are underpaid. In the factories of Myanmar, people work 11-hour shifts for 6 days a week. And they are paid as little as $3.50 to $5 a day. The tales of horror go beyond the continent. In 2015, Zara was accused of discriminating against black employees. The condition in Zara's Brazil factories were likened to slavery. In 2017, workers making clothes for Zara in Turkey began sewing please into clothes. The tags complained of underpayment. Inditex has also been accused of tax evasion. Zara's owner, Amancio Ortega, is a hero in Spain. The country's leadership wears his brand. Zara's story is a textbook example of how big brands do just enough to attract good press. What happens behind the scenes is none of the world's business. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.
China exported a virus. The world got busy fighting it. And China is using this chance to grab territory. With most countries looking the other way, China is deploying warships and capturing islands. So what are the so-called global powers doing about this aggression? Precious little. Most of them have been muted or half-hearted in their criticism. Europe is even happy to have the Chinese edit their friendship letter. Europe lost lives to the Wuhan virus. Then it struggled with faulty Chinese supplies and hostile takeovers. Forget about standing up to the dragon. Europe is professing friendship. Thankfully, some countries still have a spine. It's the smaller nations which are challenging the mighty China. Vietnam, for instance. Vietnam is standing up to China. A report says that Vietnam is close to filing an international arbitration case, meaning they want to take China to court, settle the dispute over the South China Sea in an international court of law. Reports say a decision could be taken very soon. But why now? Because China's expansionism knows no bounds and China's opportunism knows no bounds. This is when countries are at their weakest, literally in the ICU thanks to the Wuhan virus. And what does China do? It has announced a fishing ban in the South China Sea till the month of August. Now, the fact is, this sea is disputed. It is not China's place to impose bans. Today, Vietnam rejected that decision, calling China's order unilateral. China has been at it, using its military to strengthen its claims over the waters and the islands in South China Sea. Vietnam is one of the 7 governments that lay similar claims. The others are Brunei, China, of course, Taiwan, Malaysia, Indonesia, and the Philippines. And Vietnam is now standing up to China. It's not alone. Indonesia is doing the same. Another island nation. In the last few months, there's been growing tension between Jakarta and Beijing. Indonesian sailors have died in the Pacific. Reports said that they were mistreated and exploited by the Chinese. Chinese fishing vessels escorted by the Chinese Coast Guard ships repeatedly breach Indonesian borders near the Natuna Islands. Indonesia had enough and summoned the Chinese ambassador to demand an explanation. Then we have Taiwan, a region that has been denied independence and subjected to exclusion from world bodies thanks to China. Taiwan, too, is standing up to China. It is asking questions of the WHO. It is calling out Beijing's botched-up response to the pandemic. Remember, Taiwan alerted the WHO about human-to-human transmission way before China did, but the world body did not take notice of Taiwan's warnings under Chinese pressure. So here's the list: Vietnam, Indonesia, Taiwan. The David standing up to the Chinese Goliath. The world can learn a thing or two from them. The European Union, for instance, the world's largest trading bloc, bending to accommodate China. In their defense, they say they're bending, quote-unquote, reluctantly. First, they watered down a response on Chinese coronavirus disinformation. Then they allowed China to edit their letter.
And we regret that this op-ed, this joint op-ed, was not published in full by the China Daily. The full version of the op-ed has been published on the website of a delegation to China, and it has been also distributed to Chinese media outlets, some of which have in the meantime published it as well in full.
Not too far away from Brussels, even London is split over China. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson seemed to be in a bind. He has been facing constant pressure to take a stand against China. But so far, he's yet to back a global call for an investigation into the origins of the virus. The coronavirus outbreak has exposed the lack of leadership on the world stage. China is exploiting the situation. When the G20 summit happened, world leaders had a chance to call out China. They did not. Vietnam, Indonesia and Taiwan did. They have decided to call out the... More than 20 million Americans lost their jobs in April due to the pandemic. Facebook and Google, meanwhile, have allowed employees to work from home till the end of this year. These stories and more on the Gravitas Coronavirus Tracker.
More than 20 million people in America lost their jobs in April. Unemployment rate has risen to an unprecedented 14.7%. The figures were at a historic low of just 3.5% in February. The United States of America and Japan will cooperate on corona vaccine and medication. President Trump and Prime Minister Abe also agreed to help boost their economies. Japan has fast-tracked approval for antiviral drug remdesivir to treat patients. Rafael Nadal says Novak Djokovic will need to get vaccinated if he wants to play on the ATP Tour. The Spaniard insists that all players will have to follow ATP rules if a vaccine is made compulsory. Earlier, Djokovic had opposed the idea of a mandatory vaccine. Hong Kong has relaxed major social distancing measures. Bars, gyms, cinemas, and beauty parlors have been allowed to reopen. Regular temperature checks will continue. Facebook and Google have allowed employees to work from home till the end of the year. Essential staff will be able to return to offices from July. The companies say they will enforce stricter health safety measures. The number of new cases in Russia soared over 10,000 for the sixth straight day. Russia now has close to 188,000 patients, surpassing the figures in France and Germany. Over 1,700 people have died in the country. Argentinians banged pots and utensils to protest against the lockdown measures. The protest, called March of the Mask, was organized on social media. Argentina has been under lockdown for the past 7 weeks. Protesters have called the lockdown excessive government control. Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison has unveiled his 3-stage lockdown exit plan. Restrictions have been relaxed for retail stores, restaurants and cafes. 10 people will be allowed indoors. Social distancing guidelines remain in place. However, gyms, movie theaters, clubs and zoos will remain closed for now. The United Nations says the pandemic has sparked a tsunami of hate. UN urged countries to take steps to end the xenophobia on the streets and online. Antonio Guterres says migrants and refugees have been vilified and denied treatment. The European Union will distribute 10 million face masks. Masks will be given to healthcare workers across the 27-nation bloc and its former member Britain.
What's cooking across the border? I'm talking about the military with a country, Pakistan. It cannot be denied that the real ruler of Pakistan is the army. It always has been. And Imran Khan has come as a jewel in the military's crown, albeit a dim jewel. He's no more the flamboyant cricketer the world once knew. Imran Khan was known to be a liberal man with progressive values. There was a time when he boycotted general elections in Pakistan for the fact that they were being controlled by the Pakistan army. This was in 2008. Imran Khan once famously said that Pakistan's army generals are not trained to deal with human beings. Listen to this.
I discovered that it's not the fault of generals. It's the institution which they come out of. They just don't have the vision to run a country. They are not equipped to deal with normal human beings. They don't understand debate and consensus and stuff. And so as Churchill once said, war is too serious a business for generals. I really believe that they're not equipped to make these decisions. They should be given, projects, okay, go capture that hill. But when you tell them to run the country, it doesn't work.
Of this man, the quote by Churchill, as he puts it, is wrong, by the way. Churchill did not say that. And this man is now the Prime Minister of Pakistan. It's well known who is controlling him and his country. He is often called a puppet in the hands of the Pakistan army. What was informed conjecture is now a matter of record. A minister in Imran Khan's administration has confirmed the influence that the army has over the Pakistan government. Sheikh Rashid Ahmed, Pakistan's Minister for Railways, someone who is known to speak truth to power, only that he often gets into trouble for doing so. Mr. Ahmed wanted to remove misconceptions about differences between the Pakistan army and Imran Khan. What he ended up doing was to confess that Imran Khan agrees with everything that the Pakistan army says.
इमरान खान और फौज फिट है, किसी को गलतफहमी है तो वो दूर कर ले। मैं आपके प्रोग्राम में कह रहा हूँ, बहुत सारे बेवकूफ़ मुझे दिन में मिलते हैं और ये तल्लकात ख़राब हो गए, एक लाइन लेंथ पे हैं। तमाम बातें इमरान खान फौज की मानता है और फौज इमरान खान के पीछे खड़ी है। इससे ज्यादा सीधी सीधी बात मैं आपको कोई नहीं कह सकता आपके प्रोग्राम में। और अगर किसी को ये गलतफहमी है कि फौज इमरान खान के पीछे नहीं खड़ी, तो वो फिर नेशनल गवर्नमेंट भी बना ले और वो इंतखाबात भी करा ले और हुकूमत को भी गिरा ले। जब वो उठेगा आगे इमरान खान ही होगा। सो मैं नहीं देखता, मैं अपनी सियासत में इतनी कोलेशन और इतनी अच्छी अंडरस्टैंडिंग, आप देखें ना क्या हुआ है मीडिया में, इतनी अच्छी कॉम्बिनेशन आप सोच सकते हैं। एक चेहरा भी चाहिए था टीवी पे, चेहरा भी मिल गया। एक बंदा भी चाहिए था पीछे जो कारीगर हो, वो बाजवे की शक्ल में वो भी मिल गया।
If I had the time, I'd play it again. We agree. We have never seen such an excellent coalition between the Pakistan government and the army. A government that sacks ministers and replaces them with army generals. Do you know who Imran Khan's new advisor on information and broadcasting is? Asim Salim Bajwa, a retired Lieutenant General of the Pakistan Army. Do you know when Pakistan heard about a lockdown for the first time? At an army press conference by DGISPR Major General Babar Iftikhar. Do you know which provision has been invoked under the lockdown in Pakistan? Article 245 of Pakistan's constitution. Under this provision, the high courts of all provinces in Pakistan lose power, and Pakistan's military is in charge of quote-unquote imposing law and order in aid of civil authority. The coalition is indeed what Sheikh Rashid Ahmad calls it. Excellent. The Pakistan Army is making the most of this pandemic. It has officially been made in charge of most governance roles, while Imran Khan puts out videos with rosaries in his hands and tears in his eyes. The lockdown has pushed everything online, from grocery shopping to attending lectures and meetings. Guess what else has gone online? Indian weddings. The lavish affair is now playing out on video calls. Take a look.
These are not two people playing dress-up. This is a bride and a groom dancing at their wedding. A virtual wedding. Welcome to 2020, where staying at home is trendy and online weddings are in vogue. Virtual makeup artists, no caterers, no fancy destination, just the bride, the groom, a screen full of guests, and the priest performing wedding rituals through video link. This is the new big fat Indian wedding. It's different, it's new, it's still high on energy, and it's fun. There is no compromising on the wedding rituals, from the sangeet to the cocktails and the feras. It's all there, and it's all being streamed live on Facebook. Here's the bonus. Couples say it's not as stressful.
We never imagined that our wedding would end up being so grand, even when it's done online. It was much, much more fun and much less stressful. So I think that's a very good feeling.
Why are Indian couples tying the knot virtually? You see, astrological charts dictate wedding dates in India. Most of the weddings are planned for months, if not years. Postponing them is often seen as ominous, and young couples do not mind exchanging vows from different cities.
It's cheaper, economical for both the parties, I would say, and it's more fun because by end of the wedding, like when the actual wedding happens, the fera ceremony and all, the bride and groom's energy is just zero. They are just numb, but we were able to enjoy it. We remember each part of it.
Online matchmakers say there's a rising demand for organizing online weddings.
So I think we've done maybe 3 weddings already, and there's several in the pipeline.
A wedding is a big deal in India. Literally, over 10 million weddings are held in the country every year. The wedding industry is worth $40 to $50 billion. It involves exotic destinations, extravagant events. But as the world takes a minimalistic turn forced by the pandemic, Indian weddings too are adapting. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.